Hello fellow YouTubers and welcome to World of Warships. The map's hotspot, it's domination mode, and today I'm in the Shimakaze. Yes, the original Ninja. This ship was doing nasty things with spotting and ghosting long before the Jaeger was ever brought into the game. She's changed a lot over the years. They've given people more thinking time on the torpedoes. I'm running right now with the 12km 24k each damage torpedoes, the max damage torpedoes that do 76 knots with this build and have a detection of around 1.7 kilometers. When she first came out, the 20km torpedoes were insanely good, and you were able to take out aircraft carriers with them. Yes, in the early game, sort of from 20 kilometers. Yeah, but a lot's changed, and those torpedoes now are very easy to spot. They're quite slow and very easy to avoid, so we tend to use the 12km torpedoes. Although the 8km torpedoes can be a lot of fun too, for close engagements. Anyway, I'm going to go up this flank. I'm going to go up the 9 line and spot for the Lauria and the Utrecht. There's a Rhode Island moving across to join us shortly, and I suspect there might be a Shimakaze on this flank. We've got a Gearing and 2 Shimakazes to worry about. They've got a Napoli, a Hindenburg, a Yodo, a Lauria, a Colombo, a Montana, Libertad, and a Yamato. There's the Hindenburg. That's a bit of a worry. Scary ship at these ranges. Could make a nasty mess of me, so we're just going to back off, and I'm going to turn away just in case I get lit by the enemy DD. I mean, C isn't being capped, but something's capping B right now. So I suspect if there is a destroyer on this flank, he's spotting the channel like I am. The 9 line. Okay, there's the Yamato. Yodo's in mid. We've got 5.6 kilometer detect, but I'm getting ready to turn away if I have to. There we go, there he is. Yeah, there's a Shima on this flank. Okay, don't be afraid to use the guns. The guns on this ship are actually really good. The alpha damage is solid, and you can do a lot of damage. I mean, we've gone over 3k in that little engagement, almost 5k, and the team is also hitting for another 12k spotting damage, so he's hurting. That Shima is quite low. Actually, some of that spotting damage might be on other targets, but we've taken at least half his health. I'm looking out for the inevitable torpedoes, and you can see my torpedoes are taking a long time to traverse, and that's because I'm running the legendary mod that improves the reload on these torpedoes a considerable amount. But it does make them a bit clunky to use. RPF tells me he's in his smoke, so we're just going to send a couple of spreads into the smoke, and then we're going to move back across just in case he comes out of his smoke, so we can light him for the team. And what a team. I've got a Lauria, a Rhode Island, and an Utrecht with me. The Hindenburg fired on me, which is why I'm down to 14k health. Luckily he missed. Actually he missed. It's the Shimakaze that did most of the damage to me. Okay, we're going to move across. He's moving. He's not in his smoke anymore. He's moved across, and it looks like he's heading for C. So, again, I'm just going to stay in the channel, floating around, minding my own business, and see if we can light him. But more importantly, I'm going to keep the Yamato and the Hindenburg spotted for the team. Spotting damage is at 17,974 at the moment. And my guys are hungry for targets. There he is. Yeah, he's only got 8k health left. Alright. I'm going to smoke up here and put some shots into him. The reason I'm smoking is because I don't really want to get shot to bits by the Hindenburg or the Yamato. So, but I do want to take a little bit more health off this guy. We're just going to chip him down a bit, so next time I see him and we engage again, which could happen, he'll be a much easier and softer foe to deal with. Okay, Hindenburg over there. He's breaking off and running. And the Yamato is... he's bows on to the threat at the moment. You have 67,000 health left. Okay. Alright, I want to zone him off the flank. So I want to encourage him to move away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a torpedo wall up along this section. So if he wants to dare my torpedoes, he can. But I believe he's going to break off. He should be running. Spotting damage is up to 38k. Just going to drop some torps here. There's Shimakaze's heading north, chased by our other Shimakaze, who's joined me on this flank. Interesting. And now I'm going to move off to cap, because I think my team is dealing very adequately with that Yamato. In fact, I suspect he'll be dead before my torpedoes arrive. He's on 22k health, 24k. Yeah, we're not going to get much damage off this target. My team's too good. Look at those shells going in. Okay. We might yoink that. I'm not sure. We are the original ninja after all, but it looks like my team's doing a lot of damage to him, so nah, I don't think we're going to get that one. Okay, let's move up here. Shimakaze's moving across. Montana's moving the other way, so there's a Montana here. Okay. Yoink. Yeah, we yoinked it. Wow. That was total overkill. That was total overkill. Those torps do about 24k damage, and we did like 400. His last remaining health. Just over 400 damage. Okay. Shame the Montana wasn't with him. Now, not every match you have in the Shimakaze will be a high damage match. So with that in mind, I'm going to spend as much time spotting targets for my team as possible, because that is your primary role, capping and spotting targets and dealing with enemy destroyers. Now I'm a little concerned because my RPF tells me that their Shimakaze is just up ahead and he may well torpedo this channel, so I'm staying bows on to the threat, because it's much easier to dodge torpedoes when you're bows onto them than when you're side onto them. Okay, so we're just going to stay bows on just in case some torpedoes arrive. And now I'm going to go and scout for the Shimakaze. Yes, Utrecht, I'm way ahead of you, mate. I just needed to get the cap for the team. There's the torpedoes I was scared of. Ironic that they arrive as soon as I leave. We split the difference and we get to live. So there you go. Yes, Shimakaze torpedoes are serious stuff. They can easily one-shot you when you're in a destroyer, so you have to be careful. And staying bows on allowed us to avoid those quite adequately. We managed to thread the needle. Where is he? Aha, there he is. Okay, that should do it. Yeah, he was low in the end, wasn't he? Okay, good. Okay, so we've now removed the enemy team's eyes from this flank. Just avoiding a few shots from the Montana, who's burning nicely. Yeah. Okay. Just going to go dark. Try and avoid his secondaries. And then I'm going to move up the flank. We've totally dominated on this flank, but our team's taken considerable losses on the other flank, and there's very little in mid. So we need to get back to it. Keep these targets lit for the team. I'm wondering here whether the Montana is going to slip into sea. If he does, I want to be in a position to be able to drop some torps on him, hence the reason I'm moving into the island. Doesn't look like it. Minimap says he's going to just float on by. Doesn't fancy his chances against an Utrecht, a Shimakaze and a Loria. And who would blame him? There's their Libertad moving across to mid. Now this is a juicy target. You can keep an eye on him. Definitely a potential torpedo target. No point in opening up right now and revealing our position. I want to stay stealth, because otherwise he will be taking avoiding action. Yeah, I'm going to line up on the Colombo for this, in case the Libertad's running priority target. I don't want him to know the torpedoes are coming. And the fish are in the sea. Gone with a crisscross pattern. If he slows down, First set will get him if he speeds up. Hopefully the second set will nab him. And there's an island in the way, that's unfortunate. Okay, we're just going to turn around. I wanted to push up further, but this island's causing me a few headaches. Let's have a look. Torps look good. Torps look very good. Okay. Yeah, good for 2 hits. And now he's down to 4k health, and he's a lot more manageable. Our team can definitely deal with him from here. And yeah, Rhode Island does the honours, and the Libertad is no more. And you see what we did there was we kept the target lit for the team and provided intel, and our spotting damage as a result is up to 123,724. That's in the top right corner of the screen if you're unfamiliar with the game, and that is literally damage that our team has caused to the enemy team because I was there to spot that target. I'll keep the target lit. Very important job. If enemy ships slip away, they can heal, they can repair, and then they can come back just as strong and almost as strong as they were in their first engagement. So it's important to keep them lit so your team can deal with them. Of course, you will find situations where your team doesn't shoot too straight and some divine intervention is required, right? But really, this is the essential style of the Shimakaze. She's an opportunist. You will get occasions where you will get to do thunderous amounts of damage. I'm just checking on the Loria right now. Main reason here is I'm aware that he is only one of 2 battleships we've got left in the game, and he's withdrawing very sensibly and allowing the destroyers to push up. And I would have pushed up sooner at the Libertad and that island not being in my way. Now we've got a Colombo to think about, a Yodo. There's a U-4501 in the mix somewhere, and no one's seen the gearing for quite a while. They've also got another Shimakaze. So, still plenty of targets to spot. Alright. Okay, I've received the Combat Scout achievement because I've been keeping targets lit. Light enough targets and the game notices and gives you an award. Okay, I've been lit. And there's the enemy Shimakaze, and he's quite healthy. He's quite healthy. He's not shooting back, which tells me he's dropped torps. Yeah. We're going to drop a few of our own, see if he goes into those. Now he's shooting. There's his torps. I've smoked up to disengage because there's a Yodo nearby, and I really don't want to get shot to bits by the Yodo. I'm going to move out of my smoke to spot the Shima, but he's slipped away behind the island. Or at least I think he has. According to my RPF, he's heading north. Doesn't look like we got lucky with the torpedoes. He's torpedoed my smoke. I'm no longer there. I'm going to keep moving. You see, I don't need to worry about the Yodo too much because he's in a big ball of smoke and he's out of my detection range. So it was perfectly safe to come out of smoke and spot. You shouldn't really stay in your smoke too long unless you're farming fires and you know there's no torpedo threats around, because people love dropping torps on smoke screens. So use them carefully. It's good to have an island nearby too if you're going to smoke farm, to be honest, so that you've got all the bases covered. Right, we're going to slip into A. The Yodo is moving up. I'm on someone's RPF. The Rhode Island's dealt with the Colombo. The Shimakaze is no more. So the only threats here really are the Yodo and a U-4501 that hasn't been spotted for the last 10 minutes. Oh, and of course the gearing. I don't know where the gearing is. He's not at B and he's not at C, so chances are we're going to see him soon, I suspect. Yodo's getting low, and there we go. Spotting damage is now up to 159,295. Yodo dealt with. But my RPF is telling me another story. It tells me there's another ship out there. And my best guess is it's got to be the gearing. I mean, it might be the U4501, but I'm going to assume it's the gearing and drop torps in a tight pattern across the gap. There he is. And it is the gearing, okay. I'm going to put some shells into me. He's turning to shoot. And as you can see, he's turning straight into my torpedo wall. Yeah, looking good for 2. Bye-bye. And that's the gearing dealt with. They've struck out of the game. So I was using my RPF there, which was telling me there was a threat coming. Those were prospective torps. I was prospecting. I wasn't expecting the target to be so close. He could have been further away, but by laying torps there, I was protecting myself and denying the channel whilst capping, which is always a good thing to do. So we're going to get the cap, and then we're going to move back to mid to see if we can find out where this U4501 is. He seems to be in mid. According to my RPF, he's in mid, which means he's on the surface. Because if a submarine isn't on the surface, he doesn't show up on RPF at all. Okay. So, something to bear in mind. Alright. And he's a very stealthy one, this one. Similar levels of ninjahood. But the Rhode Island got him. God knows how, but lucky guess, and the U4501 sinks without a trace. And that's match. Okay, so we got a Class 1. Combat Scout, Dev Strike. Pretty standard match, really. Nothing much to report. Over 2k on the base XP. And essentially, at the end of the day, that is a pretty standard game in the Shimakaze, and that's kind of the role you're supposed to take. Don't be an individual, be a team player, is my advice with the Shimakaze. Spot for your team and you'll get compliments. People will like your play. I'm getting complimented here, that's great. And that's the build I was running with. This is kind of the build I've ended up with over the years. I found it to be the most reliable on this particular ship. You could take Liquidator or Greaser Gears instead for one of your 1-point picks. I wanted to get my torpedo reload down, so that's 103 seconds for 15 of the best, and that's RPF is very useful indeed on this build. And there you go, there's the modules, and as you can see, I've got engine boost on. If you haven't got the cold, take engine room protection and running legendary mod. But you could run torpedo tubes modification too if you don't have the research points for legendary mod. And I hope you enjoyed the match, and thank you all for watching. Thank you.